Alright everyone, how's it going? Awesome Soul here, and I am back with another concept video. So this time I will be covering 3 different parts that sort of fit together but have their own different functionality, but they do follow a similar theme. Now my reasoning behind these is there seems to be a large focus by FreeJam for weapon and movement parts. They haven't really announced anything that isn't really a weapon so far. So hopefully this idea might give them some inspiration? I don't know. Throughout this video I will be giving some example statistics. Keep in mind these are examples expressly for the purpose of, well, just giving a quick demonstration. Obviously these will not be the final product. Let me make that clear. This is just to give you guys an idea of what at least I have in my mind would, I don't know, work for these things. Just to see where I'm coming from. Anyways, first off, in this little trifecta of, well, I guess generators, I guess you could call them, is the Overdrive Module. Now, the Overdrive Module is, well, exactly what it sounds like. It makes your bot drive faster. So, it will increase your bot speed by a small amount. 8%, I guess. And obviously, as you overclock, it's going to be increasing. Now, when it comes to diminishing returns for this, obviously, 1 is going to provide the statistics I listed off for you. At the second one, you're only going to be getting half. Third, you're only going to be getting a quarter. And from there on out, you're not getting any more. So as shown right here, the maximum total you can get at overclock 1 is like 14, and overclock 13 is 21%. Obviously, again, these are examples just for demonstrating my point. Speaking of points, connection points. The Overdrive module probably only is going to have 2. Now, the main factor that's sort of tying all these together is what happens when they're destroyed. Now, these parts give a pretty big bonus to your bot and to any sort of wannabe specialist builders, I guess you could say, that want a more specialized bot. However, there are going to be drawbacks. As you can see there, it says, if destroyed. Now, this means that when the part is destroyed, obviously when it reaches 0 armor, it's destroyed. So, with this part in particular, it will disable your movement parts for 3 seconds. So that means thrusters, if you're like a flyer, you're just going to be slowly gliding through the air for 3 seconds. You're going to be slowing down, possibly losing a bit of altitude, but not a whole lot. If you're a helicopter, you're going to start dropping out of the sky. If you're a hovercraft, you'll just like start skidding along the ground. Wheels lock up, treads lock up, legs just sort of... I don't think they would sort of crumple. That might be a bit hard to do, but just stop walking forward. And this is basically the CPU, or the SCU rather, sort of recalibrating. It's like, oh, I've lost this thing that's making me go faster. Okay, now I have to sort of calculate the turning and all that sort of stuff. Like, it wouldn't actually change your turning in-game. It would just make you faster. It's like, I guess, a lore reasoning for making you slower. Anyways, moving on, we have the energy skin generator. Now, this is something that I personally would love to see in the game, and I think a lot of people would too. So this basically is a damage reduction effect. Now, as the name implies, I guess, it creates like a skin around your bot, some sort of barrier. It's a damage reduction effect. At T10, it's going to be reducing it by 10%, and overclock, it'll be 15%. Just like the other block, this one will have the exact same diminishing returns. So full returns with only 1 on your bot, half the returns with a second one, quarter of the returns for a third, and nothing as you keep going. Connection points, they're going to be a bit more for this one. It will have 3, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom, and 1 at the back. Now, when this block is destroyed, because the energy skin is sort of covering the whole bot, when it is destroyed, the shield violently collapses and causes 10% damage to every single block on your bot. Now, that's not a whole lot, but it does add up. If you do have 3 of these things on your bot, that's going to count for, or it's going to apply the 10% damage for every one that's destroyed. So if one's destroyed, it'll be 10% of the total health of that block, 10% again for the second one destroyed, and another 10%. So that's 30% in total. Now I guess if you, for whatever reason, wanted to have, I don't know, 10 of these things on your bot, that would be 100%. If you take every single one out. So you'd be kind of dead at that point. But then you wouldn't really want 10 on your bot because of the diminishing returns. And next up is the Fusion Booster. So the Fusion Booster is going to boost the damage output. Now keep in mind, the damage output is not going to be the same as the damage reduction effect of the energy skin. So that's going to be a bit of an interesting dynamic there. But I think it is necessary, because if they were exactly the same, then everyone would feel the need to make it so that they had a energy skin generator on their bot and a fusion booster. If they were exactly the same, it would exactly even out, and you're basically back to square one at that point. Anyways, like the other two, the diminishing returns is exactly the same. I don't need to repeat myself, you know the drill. Connection points, 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom. Now, when this one is destroyed, because the damage effect, I feel, even if it is fairly low, is still going to be quite potent, especially when it overclocks, and if you have 3 on there, that's going to be devastating. With the natural overclock damage, yeah, it's just going to be really devastating, hence why I'm keeping it rather low. But, yeah. So the trade-off for this one is much bigger than the other two, for the reasons I just listed. When the fusion booster is damaged, it goes critical and explodes. So it damages the blocks all around it within a certain radius. It's not going to damage your entire bot, but it's going to blow off a decent chunk. So you're going to have to be a smart builder about this and not just strap it on willy-nilly. You'll need some armoring around it, that's for certain. Now, obviously, the parts closer to the center of this piece will take more damage. Eventually it radiates out, and once it hits a certain point, then the explosion doesn't work anymore. And it's not going to do anything. Well, damage-wise. Anyway. So there is all 3 of them. I think they would be a very welcome addition to the game. And much needed parts, because movement and weapons are fine. But we need something that's going to specialize the bots a little bit more. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think down below. Do you like these things? Would you change anything? Would you tweak a few of the stats? I know they're examples, but just, yeah, anything on your mind. Or if you have another generator type of part, suggest it down below. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've liked this video, I have a few more concept video style things on my channel. And with that, I will sign off. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I have been the Awesome Soul, and I will, hopefully, see you next time. Take care.